Email versions of social engineering include phishing, spearphishing, and whaling.
Phishing involves sending out bait, mostly through email, to a large number of people, hoping some users will bite by sending usernames, passwords, and even credit card information. When clicking a link in a phishing email, the user is brought to a web page that looks and feels like a real banking site, the real PayPal site, the real eBay site, the real Facebook site, the real LinkedIn site, and much more. Therefore, the user feels safe and secure in entering sensitive information, which goes directly to the attacker. Furthermore, simply visiting these sites could install malware on a victim machine.
I get these emails from time to time. It goes something like this. There's been a small change to your details that we want to verify. Until you do, your account will be suspended because we suspect it was compromised. Log in here to fix it. This gets users to quickly click, not realizing how contrived the scenario sounds. On the site that the link brings them to, there could be a drive-by download exploit kit, which collects information from a victim machine, finds vulnerabilities in operating systems, browsers, and other software like video players, determines the appropriate exploit, delivers the exploit, and executes malware. All of this happens automatically just by visiting a site. Not applying operating system or software security updates leaves you very vulnerable to exploit kits. These exploit kits are usually hosted on a legitimate website that's been hacked, or are delivered through a legitimate website's third-party advertisements. In another scenario, the users could be asked to click on a link to view content, or install a program that will allow them to view content. Clicking on these links installs malware. There can be scareware, pop-up windows from the visited site asking users to click to remove a virus, or to scan for a virus. Clicking these links actually installs the malware. The pop-ups could have phone numbers for users to call to continue the social engineering attack over the phone. Victims then give the attackers their credit card numbers and allow the attackers to remotely control their machines to fix the problems. Phishing also involves email attachments that users are asked to open, like a zip file, which has 3 advantages for attackers. It bundles multiple files into one, compresses them, and can bypass malware scanners. Alternatively, an email attachment can be a Microsoft Word document or an Excel spreadsheet with a macro. Users are made to believe that the file is secure and they can only view it by enabling macros. Of course, when a user clicks the button to enable macros, that triggers the installation of malware. In fact, that's exactly how the 2015 Ukraine power grid hack started.
This is like a fisherman who casts his rod into the water, hoping to lure some fish with bait, as opposed to the fisherman who gets dinner. The fisher gets network access, PII, personally identifiable information, and is able to install malware for subsequent damage and access. Spearphishing takes phishing to a whole new level by targeting specific users of a specific company, instead of just random email addresses that may or may not be valid. When you go after the big fish of a company, like anyone that has a title beginning with a C and ending with an O, That's taking spear phishing to a whole new level and is called whaling. So sending an email to random Gmail accounts, bob1@gmail.com, bob2@gmail.com, bob3@gmail.com, would be considered phishing. Sending emails to specific users of a company, alice@company.org, eve@company.org, harry@company.org, would be considered spear phishing. Finally, sending emails to the bigwigs at a company, CEO@company.org, the boss@company.org, CISO@company.org. That would be considered whaling. Pharming is the hijacking of a legitimate website's IP address and/or domain name. It redirects unsuspecting users to a fake site and collects information that users enter, like passwords, banking information, and other PII. A watering hole is a computer attack strategy in which the victim is in a particular group, whether it's an organization, an industry, or a region. In this attack, the hacker guesses or observes which websites the group often uses. And then the hacker infects one or more of those sites with malware. Eventually, some member of the targeted group gets infected. Relying on websites that the group trusts makes the strategy efficient, even with groups that are resistant to the different forms of phishing.
The most common and rising form of malware today is ransomware. A recent study by Phishing found that 97% of phishing emails today are designed to specifically deliver ransomware, which locks and encrypts a device until a ransom fee is paid.
Scare tactics include threatening the users that if they don't pay by a certain amount of time, files will start to be deleted. The general recommendation is not to pay the ransom. It encourages the adversaries to continue this type of extortion. It funds their future activities, and it doesn't even guarantee that you will get a decryption key, or even that the decryption key you get will work. The best way to be safe is to not click on any unknown links and to keep a good set of backups that you can bring back and restore from instead of paying the ransom fee.
There are many ways to spot phishing emails and fake sites. When you hover over a link, you'll see the real web address you're being sent to. This isn't possible on mobile devices, so make it a practice to never click on the links, but rather open up a new tab and go to the site manually. A generic greeting instead of your actual name is another sign. The email address can be spoofed to appear legitimate or can be noticeably off. URLs that have the domain name but in the wrong location are also malicious. HTTP instead of HTTPS is another indicator. So is the fact that you're asked to fill in way too much information that should not be required. Phishing emails almost always have a desperate story that forces you to act urgently, and in some cases, they actually threaten you. The formatting and look of the email or website, including the quality of images, is another giveaway. Poor spelling and grammar are commonly found.
The email often has a generic signature without contact information. Attachments and mentions of scripts are the icing on the cake.